I got lost, and then through treatment, I found myself. I know what matters to me in my life and how to maintain that now. If you're sad and you're losing money and you're really struggling with this and you think you can do it on your own, you probably can't. I would get some help as soon as possible. If I hadn't sought out treatment, I don't think I would be able to sit here today and say there's hope and this can get better. I really want to encourage people to take those steps to seek out treatment like I did. An interesting thing happens in recovery that, at least for me, I found that I've connected with people that I otherwise wouldn't have a whole lot in common with, but we have this bond that we've been through recovering from gambling disorder together, and there's a lot of richness to those relationships that have really been integral to my getting to feel better. I eventually got to the point that I decided to seek out help when I was just exhausted. I would frequently say to myself, I can stop, and then I couldn't stop. And then I'd say I could stop, and I couldn't stop. And it was just really grinding me down. So I'm glad I eventually kind of threw in the towel and said, I need help. Being inpatient was the turning point for me in my recovery. It gave me a lot of hope. There are incredible counselors and support people at the inpatient program here in Oregon that emphatically care, and it was really nice to not feel so alone, finally, that there were other people that were going through what I was going through. You know, frankly, having the structure of 24-hour-a-day support where people say, eat this, go to the gym now, sit in this group and get this, education on problem gambling is exactly what I needed. And it gave me some space of not having the gambling just kind of right here all the time, enough that I could develop some new patterns. And that's really where I started getting better, finding some relief. So I'm so grateful I got to do that. Family is a hugely important part of recovery. In my case, my mom is my financial barriers person, and I'm really fortunate that that works for me. It's tricky for a lot of people because, our families have been really hurt in this process of our gambling disorder, and they have a journey to go on themselves too. They need support, and they need to find recovery and hopefully move along the path at kind of a parallel form that we are. I've been really fortunate that mine has, and that we found really deep and meaningful relationships through my recovery. Friendships have really evolved for me in recovery. There's not a whole lot of people that are still in my life that used to be in my life when I was struggling with gambling disorder. I find that it's something that's really prone to judgment and stigma, and I felt a lot of shame in my disorder. So I'm finding that the people that understand what I'm going through now are often other people that are in recovery from gambling disorder themselves. And I have a great community now that fully embraces what I'm doing with my life and is on that journey with me. If for any reason it doesn't work for you to meet face-to-face or go to community support meetings, outpatient therapy, whatever, there are plenty of other options available. There's all kinds of online chat functions and meetings and things. So I would just really encourage you to figure out what will work for you and go ahead and do that. I believe that the most important thing you can do for your recovery journey is, first and foremost, just forgive yourself. You might have done horrible things, but feeling ashamed of those things is not going to get you where you want to be. Just accept that it happened and own what you need to do going forward. In my case, I would pretty much do whatever was suggested to me. I felt like any reasonable request of making an effort to get better was probably what I needed to do next. So whether that was going to a certain kind of treatment group or counseling program or even a barbecue at someone's house that was also in recovery, I was like, okay, let's do this. If you find that you're constantly going to your phone and using it for gambling, and it's kind of an all-day thing where you're spending money you don't have and it's costing you relationships and you're just really suffering, very much want to encourage you to know that you're not alone, that yeah, this is kind of a weird thing, but there's hope and you can get help and it's going to be okay. I feel a great deal of hope. My life is nothing like I thought it would be at this point. It's been a transformative process. I don't just accept that I need to do a lot of things to continue my recovery. I embrace it. My relationships are richer than they would have been otherwise. There's just a lot that's entirely different in how I spend my time and what my values are that I wouldn't have the privilege of getting to enjoy had I not been through this process. When I think back to the me who was really suffering many years ago, I would say to them, you know, this is kind of a weird thing. You probably never thought you would grow up and deal with these kind of challenges when it comes to gambling, of all things. I also think I was probably suffering from the weight of a great deal of shame and disappointment myself. And I go back to that person now and say, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of hard. Why don't you go ahead and just get some help now? It's okay. There's a lot of hope. You can get through this. Your life can actually be far richer than you ever imagined.